Today we're going to be looking at paragraphing. We'll be looking at the core components of a paragraph, and we'll be using Purdue OWL as a guide for this discussion. For those of you that know Purdue OWL, you understand that it's a really great source for lots of different writing techniques. In this case, I'll be giving you the link to this page at the bottom of our Canvas page, and I recommend that you come back and visit this before moving forward with any of your revisions or any other writing activities that you may have that involve, putting together a lot of different paragraphs. So the question is, of course, why do we want to look at paragraph components? Why is this important? Well, the first thing I would like to emphasize with you all is that if you know how to write a good paragraph, you know how to write a good paper. The topic sentence and the thesis statement are very much similar in that they're guiding forces in your writing. Also, the more you know how to organize a concept around a topic sentence, the more you know how to organize a larger paper. So that's really important. And obviously, paragraphs are the building blocks of your papers. And so the clearer they are, the clearer your writing is. So let's take a look at some of the main concepts. Just quickly for definition purposes, what's a paragraph? It's a main idea that's developed through multiple sentences. That's the simple, basic definition of a paragraph. One thing that is really important is to take a look at the idea of a single topic. Right, and that is, I think, the biggest problem a lot of writers have is that I think they try and cram too many ideas into a paragraph, and then it gets unruly and unwieldy. It turns into something really big and hard to read, and we all know what that feels like, when we stumble upon a paragraph that has too many concepts working in it. The whole idea is to get a single topic followed by another one and chunk out the information, and I think your readers will appreciate that. And so let's see, how do we do that? How do we take control of our paragraphs? Well, one main idea, as we mentioned earlier, is to keep to one idea, and that is the first part of the component series that I want us to look at. We're going to be looking at unity first, followed by coherence, your topic, sentence, concept, and adequate development. So for those of you that are familiar with Sesame Street, you know that there's a little song that says one of these things is not like the other. One of these things does not belong, right? And unity is exactly like that. You might have a bunch of sentences that are connected to your topic sentence, and then maybe one or two that are kind of ramble or digress, or maybe start developing another concept. Maybe you had a little bit of a digression in your thinking, and so you've included that in your paragraph. So when you're fine tuning, when you're starting to revise, take a look at those kinds of take a look for those kinds of problems in your unity of your ideas. Coherence is something that sounds a lot like unity, but it's not. Coherence is more about how you organize your paragraphs and the order that you put your sentences in. Do you want to work chronologically? Do you want to work in order of importance? Do you want to think about a process? Right, and so as your sentences unfold, as your ideas unfold, you want to put together these ideas using bridges. So looking here at Purdue OWL, we can talk about local bridges. The same idea of a topic is carried over from one sentence to the next, kind of reiterating a little bit. Successive sentences can also be created in parallel form. In other words, there's a similar kind of grammatical construction that kind of keeps that glue working for you as a writer. Verbal bridges can be repetition of a key concept. Synonymous words can be put together to kind of help the reader follow your thinking. A pronoun can refer to a noun in a previous sentence. And then, probably the most obvious is the use of transition words. Since, after, because, first, second, third, those kinds of words really help us step through your thinking from one sentence to the next. As I mentioned earlier, a topic sentence is just like a thesis in that it's the ruling concept inside of your paragraph. Topic sentences can appear anywhere in your paragraph. It doesn't matter where, except in the fact that you want to keep things coherent and you want that guiding idea to maybe begin or maybe to kind of act as a final thought, and kind of organizing where your thoughts go around that sentence will really help you be aware of how your reader feels, kind of thinking about that concept. So I know a lot of us feel like, oh my God, I don't know what to say in this paragraph. How in the world can I write 10 sentences? Some of us have that issue. It's a little bit of a paragraph writing block. So look at this next list from Purdue Owl. It's really helpful in terms of how do you develop your ideas. You can use sentences that lead to examples or illustrations, kind of a for instance. You can always rely on your research for facts, statistics, evidence, details, and other information. Take it examining a testimony, what other people say in your interviews, or paraphrases from your resources. Tell a story, define terms that people don't know, maybe offer a comparison and contrast, looking at effects and consequences and causes. And then obviously, coming here to the end, taking a look at the chronology of how something unfolds, while you're analyzing or describing. So this is a great page for you to come back and look at, and if you're really wanting some help with developing it, or maybe like using some organizational principles around your concepts. So to avoid that mega paragraph that we were talking about earlier, when do you know, or how do you know to start a new paragraph? Well, one thing is just like when you have a new idea, a new point, or a development of a point. You might also want to think about maybe a contrast or an opposite idea. And that's a really nice cue for you to say, maybe I just want to jump into a new paragraph rather than making it a contrasting paragraph within that one big block that you've already built out. Think about us, us readers out there. Think about yourself as a reader. When you need a break, your readers probably need a break. And so, it's kind of an intuitive thing as much as it is a logical one. And obviously, when you're introducing a paragraph or a paper, or when you're ending a paper, you really want to give that particular moment a break with an indent, and readers kind of know that that's the end of the beginning of your paper, or you're kind of then summing things up. So that's about it for this particular video. I hope you found it useful. I hope you can take these concepts now, and as you're going into writing a new part of your paper or into revising your paper, you can start to sculpt with a little bit more awareness of how things look when you're putting these ideas together. So see you next time. Take care.